Cosmic Files. Today we're taking a look at the Buga Colombia sphere. This is a relatively recent sighting that has quite a bit of information that comes along with it in several forms. On the left, you can see a relatively close-up photograph of probably one of the most visually sophisticated parts of the object, at least to the eye. So the appearance of the object in the photographs seemed to be like a metallic, semi-shiny, and it's a round or spherical object. Some of the intelligence indicators kind of span a few different areas. One of them is the fact that it does look to have some foreign language markings and symbols, as well as the movement of the object itself in the video that was released. What's really nice about this is that we do have several different forms of evidence, one of them being photographic, and we'll get into the photos here in a second, but we do have a video as well, and also some scientific evidence. Obviously, the object itself has been captured, and that in and of itself is evidence for the anomaly. So this occurred on or around March 2nd, 2025. And it happened in Buga, Colombia, South America. Over on the map, you can kind of see exactly where that is roughly. It's interesting to note that South America, at least in the history of ufology, has had relatively strange things happen along the coastlines. And this is no stranger to that history, as now it has seemingly popped up out of nowhere. And so this looks to have been seen and witnessed by kind of like the average Joe, and made its way over into the scientific community, which we'll see some photos of. So it was described, and also in the video you can kind of see that it does look metallic, although in the video itself it is kind of a very dull metallic. It's not very shiny at all. It's seen kind of hovering in the sky. It kind of zigzags in the air until it eventually just drops onto the ground. So here's a kind of a fuller photo. And what's interesting to note here is the size of it. So it looks about the size of almost like a basketball or kind of like a Major League Soccer ball. In a sense. So obviously to touch, this guy doesn't seem to have any kind of reaction right away when touching it. You can definitely tell that by how it's warping the light. If you can see, most of the shiny area is basically towards the top, and then on the sides you can see where it's almost creating this effect of warping the sky around the ball itself, as you can see the reflection of the sky up towards the top. So here's a photograph of the supposed same sphere. But what's interesting to note here is the hand on the sphere. So if we go back to this, we can tell that the person's hand on top of it kind of makes the object look not really that large. And if we go to this image, it looks to be a whole lot larger. I don't know if that's because of just the size of the hand that's on it, but just for reference, if you can kind of see that comparison, it looks to be a little larger. So I don't know what they're doing here. They're obviously doing some tests on it, and they eventually do some X-ray imaging on it as well. This is one of the photographs here that shows some type of anomalies in the center of it. Here's another photograph as well of the same thing. And here is an actual photograph of them actually performing the X-ray on the object itself. So what's interesting about this, a few things to note is South America seems to be a hotspot of activity when it comes to strange phenomena and UFO sightings For instance, we've got the Varginha, Brazil incident. There's several different historical and um, documented cases along the coastlines as well of just weird lights coming out of the water and going back in. So it seems to be it kind of fits the area in a sense. Two is what's interesting about it is the markings on the object seem to be multiform or heterogeneous. And so what that means is that if we back up here, we notice that we have three different types, at least visually, markings. So we have some sort of what looks to be a language. In the center of that looks to be some type of circuitry. And outside of that looks to be some type of symbols. So we have three different varieties all on the same object. And what's also interesting to note is they're not necessarily accurately done. If you look at this arch over here with the circle inside of it, it is almost in direct center where the line comes across relatively evenly over the top of it on this side. On this one, this is sort of a divot. And this is not symmetrical at all. It's almost as if someone's done it by hand. And then when you get over here to the circuitry, it the circuitry looks a little bit more uniform as opposed to what these symbols are here. Uh, so it's kind of odd to me. Another thing to notice too is the triangles here. The circle is almost kind of somewhat centered on in this triangle. And this one, it's way over here, kind of off to the right. So, I don't know what that means, but I just find it kind of odd that it looks like it's almost been hand drawn on the object. But if we go back, um, you know, circuitry, it could be a symbol of circuitry, or it could actually be an actual conductive part of the object itself. So, let me know what your thoughts are on this.